NBA fans love to talk about how coaches like Gregg Popovich or Erik Spoelstra are able to create talent out of thin air. These kind of coaches seem to be so talented that they could take any dude off the street and turn them into an NBA rotation player. But even today, after having demonstrated that same ability, people don't recognize Tom Thibodeau as one of them. The man already had New York winning its first playoff round since 2013 during the last playoffs. But this year, he's just going crazy. Not only has he turned Jalen Brunson into one of the best guards in the entire league, and the Knicks into the fourth best defense in the entire Eastern Conference, Thibs has dressed up as Dr. Gero to create androids that are destroying every offensive system in the NBA. But if you want to know how he did it, and what I mean specifically by this, you'll have to watch the video all the way to the end. I promise you won't regret it.
And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Appreciate you guys.
The coach's style is clear from his time with the Chicago Bulls, where he built a concrete factory with players like Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, Derrick Rose, and of course his beloved Jimmy Buckets, which by the way was his creation. His philosophy based on effort and intangibles got him good results, but we've all seen how the NBA has evolved towards the offensive side of the game. Everyone expected that, like all other old school coaches, Thibodeau's style will become completely obsolete, but rather, the opposite is happening. During this season, the Knicks are elite in multiple hustle stats. They are the 6th best team in the entire NBA in offensive loose balls recovered with 2.9 per game. They are the 4th team with the most charges drawn per game with 0.66. They are the 9th team in the league with the most contested threes per game with 17.1. And they are the 7th team with the most box outs per game with 7.4. These extra possessions are crucial when it comes to getting wins, and Tom has been able to put special emphasis on those types of actions. Thanks to that, the Knicks rank 4th in the Eastern Conference with a record of 44 wins and 30 losses. And they are the 2nd team that has allowed the least amount of points in the entire league with 107.9 points per game, behind only the Minnesota Timberwolves. A team that, by the way, has one of the best defensive players in the league and a potential defensive player of the year in Rudy Gobert. But the best news for the Knicks is that playoff basketball is completely different from regular season basketball. The increased intensity that comes after April usually rewards teams with a more pronounced defensive style, who are able to nullify the best superstars in the league. And the Knicks have all the ingredients necessary to put a fight against literally anyone. Of course, this hasn't just been Tom Thibodeau's responsibility. In order to implement his style and ideas on a roster, he needs the right tools. Leon Rose, the current president of basketball operations, has done a sublime job over the last few months. Not only for betting on Brunson when no one else wanted to do it, not even the Mavericks, but for a series of wise decisions that, frankly, are surprising coming from a franchise like New York. Not to hate, but the Big Apple hasn't always been known for having the boldest management, you know? In February 2023, the Knicks were involved in a 4-way trade in which they acquired the services of Josh Hart. And man, at 6'4", the wing has one of the most unique play styles in the entire NBA. Not only is he an excellent defensive player whose skills make him look a lot bigger than his size really depicts, he's able to defend guards but also play much bigger than his size, with a versatility that is increasingly valued in the modern NBA. He's also an excellent screener, a continuous threat on loose balls, and probably one of the best rebounders in history at his position. If you count Hart as a shooting guard, he's 6th all-time among guards in rebounds per game, behind only Oscar Robertson, Tom Gola, Jerry Sloan, Magic Johnson, and Russell Westbrook. All this while being able to deliver a very good offensive performance. He can shoot three-pointers, although this does need some work. He does have excellent court vision and offers Thibs the intensity he asked for during 48 minutes. Yes, literally 48 minutes. Almost a year later, in December of 2023, Leon Rose made another trade in which he got another vital piece in Thibs' schemes. In exchange for Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, the Knicks acquired the services of OG Anunoby. The 26-year-old forward, who has played his entire career with the Toronto Raptors, arrived in the Big Apple to push Thibs' philosophies to the limit. Before the deadline, OG was one of the most valued assets by all NBA GMs. But why? Looking at his offensive contribution, Anunoby simply looks like a slightly above league average starter. But man, on the defensive end, he's a real beast. His main virtue is also his versatility. The tweener doesn't care if he has to guard a 6'1 player who can move at lightning speed or a 7'2 center who weighs 50 pounds more than he does. No, I'm not exaggerating. Against the Sixers, he had to defend Joel Embiid at times. Against the Timberwolves, he alternated between Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. He can simply stay in front of everybody. And if we know anything from the past, it's that Thibs loves these type of versatile players on defense. Anunoby currently is having some trouble with injuries and recently suffered a setback in his recovery of his right elbow. But in the 17 games he has been available, the Knicks have posted a record of 15 wins and 2 losses. Admittedly, you have to be honest about one thing and be aware of reality. Both Josh and Anunoby had proven themselves to be elite role players prior to their arrival. But Thibs has really boosted their skills. But the coach hasn't just worked on them. Players like Isaiah Hartenstein, Miles McBride, or Precious Achiuwa are enjoying their career season right now, and their excellent performance is being caused, among other factors, by the mentality of their head coach. Thibs knows how to squeeze the potential of players who are willing to adapt his philosophy, and when they do, they become much better. Look at Spoelstra's Heat in their last finals run. Players like Haywood Highsmith, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, or Caleb Martin became stars during certain moments of the past playoffs. Just look at this. All thanks to the culture that some coaches are able to establish into franchises over time. Spoelstra has been with the Heat his entire career. Popovich has been with the Spurs for over 25 years, and so he was always capable of doing the same thing. Thibodeau has only been in New York for 4 seasons, but he is slowly building his style to establish a winning culture based on the defensive side of the ball. The scary thing, however, is that they're just beginning. With the exception of Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks, who arrived as reinforcements during this trade deadline from Detroit, no player on the Knicks roster reaches 30 years of age. The team has a solid and young core that already allows them to compete to reach the conference finals. But with the progression the Knicks are making, this should be just the beginning. It's true that the Boston Celtics are the clear-cut favorite to win the conference this year, thanks to their incredible starting 5. But New York is one of those contenders that will try to make things difficult for them over the next few seasons. It's something that goes far beyond a game plan. It's something that goes much deeper than a defensive system. Tom is a coach of philosophies and culture, aspects that very few coaches have been able to master in the NBA. He's different. The more time he spends in New York, the more and more players will see their performance enhanced under the orders of one of the most underrated masterminds in the modern NBA. And while many people have yet to realize it, his survival instincts and ability to lead a team to the elite in the pace and space era automatically makes him one of the best coaches in the entire league. Although this is a conversation that many people are not ready for yet.